Call of Duty Ghosts was a game of differing opinion from when it launched to today. Uh, People loved it, people hated it, and then people sat in the middle. For a time, I sat in the middle, especially with the multiplayer. It was very iffy for me, and Extinction I didn't touch after like a good hour or two trying to play it. But eventually, it turned around. Ghost wasn't as bad as people thought, at least in my opinion. Um, we're gonna be going over today the good and bad points of the game, from what I can gather, and just kind of laying it all out and seeing what people really thought about what was going on with the game, what the problems with the game, what the great points about the game were, and just seeing how they reflect together. So, if you too have an opinion of Ghosts that you want to share, do leave a comment. Let me know how you felt the game was personally. Leave a like if you do enjoy this. We'll try and go over as much as we can in the time we've got, and let's get straight into it. So first of all, we should probably start with the good points because we're going to start the video on a negative point. The good points of the game for me were the campaign was brilliant. The campaign was fantastic, actually, probably one of the best. The cliffhanger kind of sucks. I'm not going to obviously explain what happens because maybe there's some people that haven't played it and want to. So I'll leave it, but it is a cliffhanger, so prepare for that. So it did have every potential to get a sequel, but I think with the reception of the game, they may have decided not to. A lot of people still want a sequel, a direct sequel to Ghosts. Maybe it'll happen. Who knows? I mean, Infinity Ward, we're in 2021 now. I believe it's Sledgehammer Games making this year's COD. I think that might change. And Infinity Ward would be next year, so if there was going to be a Ghost 2, it would be 2022. But that again is if it even happens because they recently rebooted Modern Warfare in their recent game, and I believe there was a Warzone video file found from the Easter eggs in the map that set up a connection to Soap, who's obviously the main character in the Modern Warfare original series. So that would lead me to assume either they're going to continue the Warzone story in a different map for that, or there will be a Modern Warfare 2 reboot kind of thing. It's a weird process what they've done with that, but 2022, as far as I'm aware, will be Infinity Ward making the game. So we'll see what they have in store for us then. Moving away from the campaign, we had Extinction. Extinction for me at first was not that great. It was coming off the back of zombies we'd had for the past 3 games, I think, at this point. Modern Warfare 3 was Full Ghost, which had survival, and Spec Ops, which I loved that anyway, but zombies was like the main, the big, bulky co-op mode. So when Extinction came out, it was something different, which is obviously a big move, because people are so used to zombies, they released a new mode that's completely different, and it was completely different. And people are gonna, be kind of iffy on it. At first, I didn't like it. I did beat the first map, in the first week of launch, but I still didn't enjoy it. But over time, it grew on me. The DLC maps were definitely good, and they had the systems like the teeth and stuff like that, where you could upgrade your character in specific ways and modifiers on the maps and stuff like that. And then I jumped onto it with a couple of friends, and then it did get better. It is a good mode, but at first I was not a fan. I love how it plays out. Now I love the different types of enemies you get, different classes you can use, the certain abilities each class gets. It all works really well together. Definitely a mode you want to play with people instead of solo, but if you haven't tried Extinction or haven't given it a chance, if you have anyone around that still plays Ghosts, I wouldn't really recommend going through Extinction again and trying to beat maybe the first map, maybe some of the DLC, depends what you've got, but definitely give it a good go. Moving on to the multiplayer. The multiplayer was, for me, probably obviously the best part of the game. I loved how they introduced the squad point system and how the prestigious works, where basically you would have, I think, 10 operators. I think it was 10 at launch. They added more later on, I'm pretty sure. But each individual character, you would level up individually, and then when you finish that character, they would prestige, and you go on to the second one, and then you'd be technically first prestige, and you get that one to prestige, and you'd be on the next one, which means you'd be second, and it would go like that instead of resetting stats. You would just go on to a different character, which was pretty cool. Obviously, they were level 1, so you had to unlock everything again, but it was, a completely different character. You could customize how they looked separately. You could use different kill streaks and different characters. You could use different weapons. You had all the different custom classes across different characters. So you had quite a lot of custom classes in Ghosts, which was really nice. And obviously, you know, you finish one character, get into max level prestige them, and you can still go back and play them if you want to. So you always have the option to go back to a fully kitted out max level character whenever you want, which is really cool. Another thing about Ghosts that I enjoyed, which was more of a thing they introduced in Modern Warfare 3, but they continue to use it into Ghosts. I think it's in a different one. I think it might be Infinite Warfare. I'm not 100% sure. I didn't really play that game that much. But the assault, support, and specialist streaks were a thing in Modern Warfare 3, which they continue to use and evolve into Ghosts. Assault being the natural, you know, kill streak and score streak, you die, it resets. Support being it costs more, it takes more to get the streaks, but when you die, they won't reset. And then specialist was you pick perks up until 8 kills. I think it was 8 kills. I want to say it was 8 kills. You get a perk every 2 kills, and then when you got to the max amount of kills, you get all of them, which is really good for solo players trying to get high streaks, high kill games, stuff like that, which was pretty cool. I always liked that. I always kind of stayed with support or assault because depending on the mode I was playing, if it was like a TDM or Pro Rock Assault, because you know there was no objective but support. Like for objective game, I was like Dom and stuff like that. You want to get like EMPs out and the Riot Juggernauts and stuff like that. They were really cool. Which moves me on to my next point about the kill streaks in this game. The kill streaks in Ghosts were amazing, you know, at least in my opinion. Especially the assault ones. They all felt really fresh in a way, and some of them were, you know, like returning ones and stuff like that. But you know, for the most part, they were pretty nice. Like the guard dog was probably one of the most used ones in the game. It was a good and a bad one, but it was more a case of being, you know, in a way it was RNG whether it would be good or not. Like you could get a dog, you spawn in, you turn the corner and die, and your guard dog would die because when you died, your guard dog would run at the guy that killed you, and if he kills it, which didn't take that long, you'd lose it. And then sometimes you'll just go off with it, and it will kill people you don't even see coming because it has like a radius of where it will start attacking. So if you're on one side of a wall and they're on the other, it'll growl or just run at it immediately, and it'll die. It'll kill the person, which is really cool. Another one they introduced, which was pretty cool, was the Maniac Juggernaut. I think it's cool. I think I got one in this video. It's basically a Juggernaut, but really fast, with a knife, and a throwing knife, which was really cool. I thought that was really good. And then obviously you had your 25 kill streak, which is the cam strike, basically a nuke. I want to say it ended the game, but I'm not 100% sure in this game if it did or not. And then there was your natural, you know, chopper gunners and EMPs and stuff like that. And then the map-based kill streaks, where some maps had you throw a care package down, which you would get from field orders, which was a new thing that people didn't really like, but I'll get into that different time. You know, you throw a care package down, and certain maps would have certain kill streaks, like Strike Zone would give you a chem strike. This map would give you a mortar fire strike, and I think another one would make a satellite drop to the ground. And then the DLC ones, they would drop, like the Michael Myers map would drop Michael Myers, you could play as. The Predator map would drop Predator, you could play as, which when it died would give you a chem strike. It was all really cool. All that kind of stuff was cool. Streaks, amazing. And now just briefly, the negative parts of the game. There's not many. Now that I've really kind of focused in on it a bit. The guns were kind of iffy. There was only a handful of guns you would use. One of the best ones in the game, unfortunately, was the DLC weapon, so obviously if you didn't have the DLC, you wouldn't get it. They did make it a separate purchase instead of a DLC pack later down the line, but either way, it was either the Ripper, the Honey Badger, and one of the M7Gs, I don't really remember. I think it was a Bison or something like that. They were like the 1 or 2 guns you could use. The map layouts were not the best at launch. Some of the maps were a bit too big for 636. Games would last the full 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and you wouldn't even reach score limit, even with full lobbies, which was quite annoying. They did get better with the maps in DLC, but maps, big problem. Big problem for me personally. But at the end of the day, you can't blame them. They had a big order to fill. It was the PS4 launch. God, it was a next-gen game, basically, so they had to kind of take risks and do things differently. So, that'll wrap it up for now. Let me know what you think was good and bad about Ghosts. Let me know what you thought was amazing. Let me know if you thought it was really terrible. Thank you all for watching and listening to my ramble about this game. New videos for Ghosts are coming. Leave a like if you enjoy, subscribe if you're new. I'll see you in the next one.